Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Leading Age California's, here we go. Our garden project webinar. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the little rough start. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. Thank you all for being here today. We're really excited to talk about the garden project. This is one of 3 webinars that we're going to have regarding this really wonderful project that we have. So just a couple of housekeeping items, but while we get started, first thing is please remain muted for the duration of the webinar. We will be able to answer questions a little bit later. In the chat, I'm going to be dropping a few documents for you and also the link to the application. And then third, we are going to have a Q&A at the end. So please hold your questions until the end. You can put them in the chat if you'd like, but we won't be able to answer them until the end of the webinar. So, sorry. My name is Lindsay Folks. I'm the grant manager here at Leading Age California, again, representing the Garden Project. And we are joined today by Orla Concannon. She is the Eldergrow founder, and she's going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about Eldergrow.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. I appreciate this wonderful opportunity. Greetings, everyone. I am coming through the screen from Seattle, and I'm so excited for this momentous kickoff, whereby the team at Leading Age California have been working for quite a long time to get to today, and invite you to this opportunity to partner with us, Eldergrow. And a fun fact about me is I spent many of my 20s, most of my 20s in the Bay Area. So I'm very fond of California and excited for our imminent partnerships. You can see on the slide before you my esteemed colleagues who make up Eldergrow, along with a whole slew of educators. That's an educator in the photo, by the way, an Eldergrow educator. I'll tell you more about them in a moment, but on the leadership team, we have Anthony, Jody, Heather, and Kizzy. And we're gonna move towards the next slide. This is the kind of the difficulty we had, team folks, but it looks like we're in good nick here. So, oh, good. So, you've met me, of course, and I'd love to share the story about this, one of the many magical moments that Eldergrow creates. And on that picture on the right was a grant partner here in Washington State. And the resident, when she discovered that I was part of Eldergrow, she brought me over to the garden and she announced, just so you know, my life changed when the gardens arrived here. They had 2 gardens in her skilled nursing facility. And she told me about her routine, going back and forth to the different gardens, checking on them daily. I myself have had a lifelong passion around serving older adults, and I worked for the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland before founding Eldergrow, and I worked in their national office. And here we are today, and making such a great impact around the US and certainly in California. Okay. We're going to show a short video, and we just want to make sure the audio is there. So did you, Lindsay, were you able to click that audio button? Yep.
When you walk into that memory care community, there's automatically some walls up with our families. It's kind of the fear of the unknown, right? We don't know what we're walking into. And when the first thing that you see is that garden, you're automatically disarmed because you connect to it, you're engaged with it. You can't keep your eyes off of that garden. And we always put it front and center in our memory care community, certainly for that reason, because that's the experience we want our families to see right away. Because it's a big part of our program. It's not just a garden that sits there. It is a daily part of our program calendars. And we want our families to know that it's a really important piece of who we are and what we do. So the wow factor cannot be understated with the garden in our memory care communities.
It's fail-safe, it's built in. So not only do you buy the cart, but this will always be looking good, and there will always be a scheduled event moving forward. There's been nothing but positivity that's come out of our experience because the residents, they love it. They absolutely love it.
When I've been here, I see that the other residents have big smiles and that everybody is getting their hands in and doing hands-on kind of things, and I think that's so important for them, for all of us, really. And I think that the Eldergrow is a wonderful idea for senior communities.
It is.
There's so many beautiful things about Eldergrow. It's just brought so much joy to our residents, and at all the different sensory levels. You get to touch and smell and feel and bake and eat. It's just a well-rounded program.
How long will the indoor garden be here?
Forever.
Oh.
So that's what we like to call the magic of Eldergrow, and that's what's in store for the many residents across California in the future. So hope you enjoyed that. As I advance the next slide, I did want to share that one of my background parts of my background is that. Oops, here we go. I also worked in senior living directly. I mentioned my path in the Alzheimer's Society, but I worked in senior living communities here in the Northwest. And so that really set the stage for Eldergrow as well. Goals for today, as you can see before you, we're going to cover what the program offers, and then we're going to talk about this neat marketing package that we have as well. And then we'll get into the, there we go. We just have a little quirky PowerPoint. There we go.
Oh, sorry, the slideshow kicked out, so I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can get you back to where you were. There we go.
No problems. It's just the agenda. So we're on our way. We'll talk. Lindsay's going to end the presentation with some of the grant requirements, and then we'll get to Q&A. So I'm viewing your screen right now, Lindsay. So if you could, I just need that. There we go. Okay.
Oh,
so what is therapeutic horticulture? Well, it's the use of plants to improve your quality of mind, body, and spirit. And by the way, that photo is during one of our really special kickoffs, and I'll get to that later on, but I just want to plant the seed, no pun intended, around what a kickoff is and how we actually launch our partnerships with you. And let's see. So here are 5 fast facts to bring you up to speed in what we do at Eldergrow. So what we have is an evidence-based, non-pharmacological wellness program. So this is not merely a garden club. And we have therapeutic horticulture engages all the 5 senses and memory. And our gardens, the ones that you will receive, are handcrafted by a team of veterans and adults living with disabilities. So we work with a nonprofit that gives job skills training, as I said, to veterans and adults with disabilities, and that's who will be hand building your gardens. Eldergrow is endorsed by Teepa Snow. For those of you who might not know Teepa, she is an iconic dementia care expert, and it certainly was a feather in our cap when we received that endorsement. Lastly, and this is one I really love to draw everyone's attention to, it's really important because of course people connect the dots and think we're about gardening, and certainly that is part of what we do, but we are way more than gardening. We have a nature program that's very diverse. So you can bring your nature lover to our classes, foodies, artists, creatives, scientists, intellects, bring one and all. Having personally worked in senior living, I know how critical it is to engage as many residents as possible. And that is exactly what we set out to do at each class. And in terms of the science, I like to give pause and share that the research that has underscored our program and continues to this day. So we lean on academic-based institutions and professional scientific bodies to develop our programming. And so you can see, for example, University of Washington has this phenomenal research around therapeutic horticulture and nature. And here are the wellness goals right before you on this slide that we will be helping residents achieve: improvement of mood, reduction of depression, improve motor skills, improve memory, and promote socialization and self-esteem. Another piece of science before we get into the actual program, and this is really powerful research. It's very kind of like the gold star in research, if you will, and it's a systematic review that was led by the Gerontological Society of America. And it's precisely what we do at Eldergrow, and that which is indoor gardening in senior living. And so the three outcomes of that systematic review, which what that means, by the way, it's a series of studies. It's not merely one study, but it was over a 10-year span that this review was done. And the outcomes were that indoor gardening in senior living helped to slow down the cognitive decline in residents living with dementia. Secondly, helps to reduce blood pressure. And thirdly, helps to improve the quality and quantity of resident sleep. The garden. So let's dive into, we have a two-pronged, service here. That first of which is the garden. So it's an indoor garden on wheels with a grow light, and you can see the gorgeous garden bed there. We only work with non-toxic plants. We're experts when it comes to toxicity because we know how important it is to keep residents safe. And so you can see the different colors and textures of the garden. And as I made mention, we only work with non-toxic plants. The gardens are ADA compliant. So what that means is that residents can sit or stand at the garden, and the gardens fit through doorways. So that's an important fact. You just need to have them be placed by a standard outlet for the grow light. Actually, on the photo on the right, what's neat about that one is you can see some of the garden art projects. Those are sun catchers suspended from the canopy, the roof of the garden. Gives you a sense of some of our programming. And the heart and soul of Eldergrow are our wonderful educators. The Eldergrow educators will be coming to the communities twice a month to provide therapeutic programming, and they'll do, I'll talk about the classes, the types of classes we do, but they are just really a special group of people who have plant chops, and they also have experience working with people who have needs. So they're they have experience, say, in senior living or anything from troubled youth to HIV patients. They just have had experience before coming to the table that supports people, the older adults in communities, along with their plant chops. The third thing that we look for as well is that they can engage residents. Can they project their voice and hold court when they teach class? And that's the profile of an educator. And of course, here's a gorgeous garden. You can see the plant ID stakes, the colors. And this is day one of one of the Eldergrow gardens. This is a therapeutic sensory garden. There are fragrant herbs in there to help with sensory stimulation, reminiscing. And our programming is, we follow the pillars of the American Horticultural Therapy Association. So there are 6 wellness goals, as you can see before you on the screen. So you have socialization, motor skills, spatial awareness, cognitive stimulation, creative expression, and sensory stimulation. And how that manifests in our programming is not only in our curriculum, but in the actual wellness reviews we do at the end of every class. So here's a screenshot, a photograph of what we would leave behind with the community after one of the Eldergrow sessions. So you can see on the left-hand side the qualitative feedback. And actually, if you look closely, you can see that the handwriting is different on the bottom than it is on the top. And the reason for that is because our classes give the opportunity for community staff to give feedback about our class. So we're going to ask the communities to rate our class, to give us feedback, and that's why that handwriting is a little bit different on the bottom left. And then on the right hand side is the quantitative piece, and this is really important for the grants. So we have measured outcomes, as the title of the slide says, and so we're going to measure those wellness goals that I just shared previously, like sensory stimulation and cognitive stimulation, and we're actually also going to measure emotional states. Do we actually improve the moods of residents by the time this class is over? And we track that as well. And as I made mention of, all of this will help us sustain the grant funding. So for those communities that participate, you'll see these, and your feedback will be very welcome when you have the opportunity. Here's an example of one of a successful grant that we have in the state of Florida. And it's with Leading Age Florida. Pardon me if I just said that. The wellness goals are right there, the outcomes. You can see that 90% of residents met or partially met their wellness goals. And in a period of 12 months, we were able to impact 4,620 participants. I mentioned a few moments ago how I really love how Eldergrow has this diverse program, because, as I said, it's really important that we can help as many of your residents as possible. And if we merely just did gardening, we know that we would limit our impact. And so we, as you can see, the categories of our curriculum are on the slide before you. So we, of course, do plant and horticulture, but we do garden art, and then we do nature-related classes, and then we have culinary harvests, really great opportunities for residents to enjoy the fruits of their labor. They might make a salad like that from a leafy green from the garden. More pictures underscoring the same. You know, the residents on the left-hand side grew that basil from seed, and they're about to make a caprese salad. Garden art classes. So I think these photos speak for themselves. And nature classes, as you can see, and we always have talking points for cognitive stimulation on the right-hand side. Notice the font of that talking point, so it gives the residents to read out loud. We don't do all the talking at Eldergrow. We really encourage interaction and cognitive stimulation as well. The portal, a lot of times folks will say, what happens when the educators aren't there? Well, we have this incredible portal that's robust with anytime activities, how-to videos, and you could fill out your monthly calendar, your activities programming with that portal. So we have over 25 activities in addition to our in-person activities facilitated by the Eldergrow educator. And here is a good slide. I call this one the nuts and bolts, kind of summarizing what I just went through. So you have 2 classes per month. You can see a class in action on that top right photo, and you can see how they wheel the garden into that class. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, if you have space challenges, you can actually have the garden placed wherever you like, in the lobby, for example, and wheel it in for a class. And 2 garden care sessions, and those wellness evaluations where we actually measure and document resident wellness goals. We provide new plants when we come. We won't, change the garden altogether, but we'll always bring in a seasonal plant or 2 to keep the garden healthy and lend to increased engagement. Number 5 is a big deal, if I do say so. We keep coming back, and that's something that's really unique about Eldergrow is the in-person support. So we know that communities have had an incredible challenge getting through COVID, and now we're still, dealing with it today, of course. And so what we're able to do is come in and give staff a break, because we're actually going to be teaching the classes, and because when there's staff turnover, we keep coming back and we can train your staff. We come back twice a month, so know that we're here to support your staff, not to add to any weight to their shoulders. Number 6, bonus activities, and so these are what I just shared. You go on the portal and pull off some neat activities, and then of course the portal like I just shared about. So Lindsay's going to dig into this a little bit more, pardon the garden pun there, but just to get your mind going, like, how do you qualify to get this program? Well, and what do you get? So you're going to get the garden, the therapeutic sensory garden. You're going to get installed. You can see in the photo behind that educator there. And you also get the 2 classes a month. And this is specifically for skilled nursing facilities. It's not for memory care only or not for AL. This is specifically a grant that comes from CMS, specific to skilled nursing. And you'll get all these things that I've been talking about, the garden care, the training, the marketing package. Way back at the beginning when I started talking, I talked about the kickoff event, and this is one of the most magical, wonderful things at Eldergrow, and it's when the residents get their new garden and they actually get to design it. They actually get ownership right out of the gate, and it's such a transformative event, and it really sets the stage for our program thereafter. And you can see that photo where the residents are designing their garden. They're picking which plants they want to put in and where. If you look in the far back of that photo, you can see a table of plants. So they're really truly designing the garden. We of course help. We know that not everyone might be able to come to the garden, but we still work with every single individual with sensory stimulation, asking their advice, where would you like me to put the garden? So we're able to work with everyone. And, the photo on the right is, the ta-da photo. They're standing in front of the gardens, but they actually had wheeled them outside during COVID. And that's another thing to point out, because we know that can still happen. So we're able to work through those scenarios and wheel the garden outside and do garden care if needed. one other thing that's really neat about Eldergrow is the marketing package. We want to help you be a holistic partner and help you to increase your census if needed, or get the good word out in your local towns and cities, the neat things that you're doing at your community. And so to that end, we have this PR marketing package. When we set a foot with our partnership, we're going to work with your local press to get you in your local newspapers. And we do these custom design flyers, as you can see on this screen. So we designed this flyer, and if you like, you can add this to your marketing collateral. And I mentioned the press releases that we will work on with your local communities. And we'll do one with, of course, with Leading Age California. And this is just a summary of that marketing package. So we have the flyer on the middle of the top row. We have this neat event tour tips and social media opportunities. And we went over on the bottom row, the press, and there's a neat poster you can avail of in the middle bottom photo, and bottom right, if you want to get the good word out to your families who may not live nearby, you can share a video. It's just neat things to enhance customer satisfaction and your exposure to the good work you're doing at your community and your neighborhoods. That's some of that social media that I already went over. We have a nice following, so it really is great to get you in the limelight. So participation requirements. So first of all, you, as I made mention, this grant funding is only available for skilled nursing facilities that have a Medicare or Medicaid bed and in good standing with CMS. We do at Eldergrow require that you are present during our classes for safety reasons. We, by all means, will be holding court and conducting the class, but we won't know, for example, if someone forgot their walker, because we might not know they have a walker. So we ask that you are in the vicinity. If you'd like to join in, all the better, but not required. And help with watering the garden. But that's really the heart of Eldergrow, is where your residents get to nurture the garden and water it themselves with support from staff. And we'll train you in person on how to do that simple task. And there'll be a form to fill out that you want to embark on this opportunity. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Lindsay. And while I do that, while we were kind of having a bumpy start, thanks to everyone while we were working out our technology kinks, I just want to give a huge shout out to Leading Age California for, as I said, there was a long time in the making to get to where we are today. And the team, Lindsay, Amanda, and Cindy, and all the folks at Leading Age California, we are so grateful for this opportunity to work with the state of California and the residents in the community. So thank you for that, Lindsay and team.
Well, thank you so much, Orla. Okay, so I am excited to talk about my things. Hold on just one second. Let me just try to fix this. I'm having a little difficulty with this with this slide deck. So hold on just one second. Here we go. Okay, so hello everyone. I saw that we had some issues possibly with the chat not working, so I'm trying to figure that out. Oh, thank you, Amanda, for fixing that link as I tried to type it very quickly. So yes, hello everyone, and thank you, Orla, so much for going through all the detail of Eldergrow. We are so excited to get this garden project launched and get everyone in and applied, and we're really happy about it. So I just want to share with everyone just kind of some basics about the grant, and just things that we provide, who's eligible, things like that. So let me go ahead. Okay, so who's eligible for the garden project? So all Medicare and or Medicaid certified skilled nursing facilities in California are eligible. It is available to Leading Age members and non-members. So you do not have to be a member of Leading Age California to participate in this grant. We got $3.9 million in grant funding for this wonderful project. This is very exciting. And it was made possible through a civil monetary penalty grant awarded by CDPH and CMS. So what does the project provide? Orla went over this a little bit, but I'll just kind of say it again. Each community that's going to participate is going to get between 1 and 3 therapeutic horticultural gardens. That amount of gardens is going to depend on how many skilled nursing facility beds that you have at your community. One of the questions that we ask in the application is that number, so you might want to have that number handy when you apply. And again, twice monthly horticultural classes with an Eldergrow educator per garden, and training and support, of course, from Leading Age California and also from the great staff over at Eldergrow. Is there cost to participate? So no, the grant project materials, training, and support are all provided at no cost for the duration of this grant period. And an Eldergrow monthly subscription will be available to your community at the end of the grant period. So this grant goes until December of 2023. Prior to that, we will reach out to communities participating to find out about continuing on with an Eldergrow monthly subscription. So how long is the project? So this is a 3-year project that actually started in January. And if you're selected to participate, your community must remain active for the entire duration of the project. So you will need to be committed to the entire time. You will receive both virtual and in-person training from Eldergrow, and your gardens will be installed spring, summer of 2023. We will be working with each community to get those scheduled, to get the garden scheduled and training and everything for you. So which staff members need to be involved? So we would love to have all staff members or to learn at least about the garden project, but we would love for the activities staff to take the lead on this. Time commitment, again, like Orla said, we ask that 1 staff member be present for each horticultural class. So that's 2 hours per month per garden. And each horticultural class includes the evaluation that Orla talked to us about. Leading Age California will also reach out to participating communities quarterly just to get a little feedback about how they're feeling about the project, but we'll give you guys more details about that as we get closer to that time. So how are we going to select our skilled nursing facilities? There's a lot of different things that we will use to determine how people will be chosen, like geographic location, obviously number of your beds, how much staff you have, making sure that you are Medicare and or Medicaid certified, your ownership information, nonprofit, for-profit, et cetera, and if you're already participating in a current CMP grant. Those things, aside from Medicare and or Medicaid certified, those will not preclude you or make you not eligible if you're already participating in a grant or anything like that. These aren't things to eliminate you. We just want to know who's applying and if you already be part of another grant. Okay, so final thoughts. The Garden Project offers skilled nursing facilities no-cost solution to loneliness and social isolation by bringing nature indoors and engaging residents with hands-on activity. Again, support and assistance from Leading Age California and Eldergrow will be available to you throughout the duration of the project. Okay, so we're going to turn the floor over to get some questions. Oh, hi, Timmy. So let's see, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them into the question and answer, or if you would like to drop them into the chat, we would be happy to speak to you guys and answer any questions that you have right now. And actually, Orla, oh, here's a good question. So when will the applications become available and where? So Kimberly, they are already available. If you go up a couple chat to Amanda Davidson went ahead and put the link to our website into the chat. If you go to there, if you go to the website, there is a big button that says apply now, and you can apply through there. The application is through SurveyMonkey, and things that you will want to know before you start the application is, again, how many skilled nursing facility beds that you have, and also your CMS number. That is a number that we will also need to be part of the program. And then, Orla, you actually answered a question that we had somebody ask, actually not on the webinar, but earlier was, can these gardens be used outdoors? So generally, this is an indoor program, but if COVID is preventing group activities, does that mean that they can wheel them outdoors, or do you not recommend that?
Good question. Well, the heart of Eldergrow is bringing nature indoors to making it accessible to all residents, not just those who can walk outside. So the gardens do live indoors, If there is an instance where we don't have access to the community, or there's a special event like that kickoff event where they wanted to do it outdoors, it was actually a COVID scenario as well. You can wheel it outdoors. There are safety locking brakes, but it doesn't permanently live outdoors because it has the electrical grow light. So it is an indoor garden.
Great. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. And then Timmy, when you're talking about a 210 bed, I believe that falls into our large category, which would be 3 gardens. For memory care, it's really just for skilled nursing facility part. So I think at that point you would get three of the gardens. Yeah, I think that answers that. Memory care lock also. I don't think, if it's not part of the skilled nursing facility, I'm not sure if they can participate. It would need to be people who are in the skilled nursing facility.
You could, one idea for that scenario is to bring, if you like, memory care residents over to the skilled nursing area. If there, if there isn't a skilled nursing, then that would be preventative to getting the grant. But if there is, and you'd like to have some of the memory care residents participate, you're welcome to bring them over. The more the merrier, as far as we're concerned. But the requirements from the grant are indeed that the focus is on skilled nursing.
Got it. Yeah, the next question, how many residents can be at each session? What do you recommend, Orla? What have you seen? How big and how small?
We've had quite intimate sessions, right? We've had intimate ones during COVID, but as I just said, the more the merrier. We do not have a cap. We do ask that, of course, if you have a big turnout, that your staff do indeed help. Passing out things, for example. We will be holding court. We will be conducting the class. But if it's a big one, yes, we would like your help. And we've, our national average is around 9 or 10 residents, but we certainly have as high as 20. We just ask that you work with your local Eldergrow educator in supporting that size of class. But again, there's no cap.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, great. If anybody has any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you can see the flyer and FAQ that I put in the chat, I hope that you can. Otherwise, we would love everyone to come and join. Go to our website, come check out the garden project. We have a ton of information about it. Orla was so nice to leave the video. We have the video that we played on the website, links to our flyer, frequently asked questions, link to the application. Everything is available on the garden page. And also, please feel free just to reach out to me directly. I am happy to answer any questions. Let me go ahead and put my email in the chat, make sure I spell it correctly. That is my email. Yeah, go ahead and reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to help. I'm really excited to get this started. We already have quite a few applications already. So if you're interested, please get your application in as soon as possible. And yeah, you're welcome to join another webinar. You're welcome to do whatever you would like. We're just excited to have people involved with it. So, oh, wonderful, Timmy. I'm glad that you feel that way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. This was a wonderful opportunity, and the more information, as Lindsay made mention, on the Leading Age California website. And Eldergrow also has a website, eldergrow.org, if you'd like to take a gander.
I got one from a question that came through the Q&A was how long do we have to apply? So the application is going to be open until March 15th or until March 17th. So I'm going to put apply by March 17th. That is when you're going to want to apply by. So make sure you have our information and get it into me by then. And then we will have our communities chosen in April. And then Orla, I wanted to ask you about that too, the subscription fee. So I had a couple of numbers, but I wasn't sure how that worked. I didn't know with the Eldergrow subscription that they're allowed to purchase at the end of the grant period. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So we will have a couple of different options at the end of the 3-year term. Depending where you're at with your budget, we can support you and thoughts around how to fund the garden But we will have DIY options for starters in addition to the full service program that we're going to be doing with Leading Age California. Full service meaning we will have the skilled educator coming to the community doing the garden care, and that's the full service. So right now, these days, that's running, you know, depending on the number of gardens, it starts at $400 a month for those 2 visits and the daily programming. But you know, again, we will have a DIY option in addition, whereby the communities can take over the garden, and we will ship plants to the community in lieu of an in-person educator for those who might have a different budget scenario. And that's how we, by the way, we work with many Leading Age partners in Leading Age Washington, for example, and that's how we've been able, they've on the heels of, they're approaching the end of their 3-year term. So we've been able to really support the communities where they're at with different options.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, yes, that is a great question. So when communities, if they end their 3-year period and then they decide that they're not going to be able to continue with the subscription, they need to decommission the garden, correct? Is that what is the next steps for that?
Yeah, the decommissioning is a safety measure where you would remove the grow light and you would convert it to an outdoor raised garden bed at that time. And we would give you some guidelines on how to move forward, but that's the nature of a decommission. We won't be coming to collect them, but we do ask if we're not servicing them anymore that you convert it to a outdoor raised bed. And again, it has wheels, so it's a rather easy task to do. And I left out, Lindsay, I realized that question on, you know, what would the subscription fee? I left out the DIY is considerably less. That probably might have gone without saying, but that 400 figure is currently, you know, as it stands in 2023 for full service. And right now we've been offering DIY packages in the mid 100 range.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, so they would get their own plants and things like that. Is that what the DIY is?
The DIY is, it's a neat opportunity. We really honed it over COVID because we couldn't access communities. You know, for those who we were able to support outdoors, the gardens were rolled outside, as you saw in some of those photos. But what we do is we ship plants to the community on a monthly basis if they want to, you know, run the program independently. And we still hold the community's hands. And what we do is we offer virtual garden coaching through, say, FaceTime or WhatsApp, and we'll still be able to look at the garden, and we can still even engage residents in that interface. But it is a DIY. We don't, our Eldergrow educator no longer comes to the community in that scenario.
Got it. So it's nice that they have options though. So that's really nice that they have options for at the end of the time. So do you offhand know the dimensions of the gardens?
I liken it to a administrator's desk. In terms of conceptually understanding the size, it is of course on wheels, but that's a sense of size. And then because it's ADA compliant, the width of it is 31 inches to fit through doorways, so you can roll it through. And then the length of, like, this is a prototype behind me, is it doesn't have the shelf up, but it has a collapsible shelf. And with that, it's about 5.5 feet. And the height, of course, fits through doorways. It's just over 6 feet with the grow light.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's a good size. Okay, great. And so if there aren't any other questions, please feel free to drop any more into the chat if you would like. Oops, oh gosh, of course. Oh gosh. Yeah, so please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions about this project. We are just really happy to get started and happy to get applications in. Thank you so much for being here today, Orla, and talking about Eldergrow. What a wonderful program that you have over there.
Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful team. Thank you for thinking of Eldergrow and reaching out and getting this started. Many thanks to you.
we're really excited about it. So thank you everybody who joined us today. So sorry for our little technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll get those worked out soon, but we appreciate you being here and staying with us. And yes, please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions, and also feel free to go to the website and apply. Let's get everyone in for the garden project. Get in now. We would love to have you. We would love to have you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, again, just reach out to me. Otherwise, everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Bye.